Sunday night, the red-hot Eagles travel across the country to battle the Rams in Los Angeles. Will Philly extend their winning streak to 7 games?
I really like Philly. Their offensive line is tremendous. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Don't forget Saquon Barkley. I mean, how can you forget him? He rushes for over 100 yards a game, catches like 7 or 8 balls a game, jumps over people backwards. I mean, this dude's ridiculous. My holdup is Jalen Hurts. You watch the game and you go back and you see the highlights. It's like he doesn't do anything crazy or special, and he's 18 of 30 for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it's like, how did this happen? And he rushes for 2 touchdowns a game with the tush push. They obviously have this figured out on offense. They have a formula. I think Kellen Moore's doing an awesome job getting all these guys the football and putting together schemes up front that, Saquon week to week is just running through open holes. Like, it's just awesome. Like, I don't see like these big time throws or great reads or awesome third down conversions. Just like Jalen just kind of figures it out and relies on everyone around him. They've won 6 in a row. Like, I think they probably win again against the Rams. I mean, the Rams are solid. They could totally come in there and win. But at the same time, Philly is sound up front. Their defense is playing a lot better. And as long as Jalen Hurts doesn't mess it up too bad, they find ways to win.
Jay, I'm going to go to you with this. The Commanders are the only team that they have beaten with a winning record during this win streak. How legit is this win streak? Is it more a case of the fact that Philly's gotten a lot better and they are good, or is it they're just playing shitty teams?
A little bit of both, but mostly Philly's getting better, especially on defense. Quinyon Mitchell stepping up at corner. There was a big hole in the defense early in the season. They're giving up big play after big play. Jalen Carter is starting to play to his potential, so he's getting to push up the middle and really stuffing the opponent's running game. The addition of the great nickel from the University of Iowa has provided some toughness and some skill at the nickel position. So they've been impressive on defense. And then offensively, Saquon's the show. Saquon and Jalen Hurts, they both hurt you with their legs. You have to bring another guy down in the box to stop the run, and that allows A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to have some one-on-ones, and Jalen's been pretty good throwing the ball up to him, making big plays. I've seen Devontae make great catches in the back of the end zone. A.J. Brown, one-on-one. What's he going to run? A stop, a go, a post? I mean, he's got it all, and they're very tough to beat because of their ability to just pound you, and then the big play ability with Devontae and AJ, and then obviously Jalen delivering the ball. I'm a little bit bigger of a fan of Jalen Hurts than Colt is. I think he's had a pretty damn good year. He's not making the mistakes, not turning the ball over, and putting his team in position to win every game.
You mentioned pounding the football, and that's what Philly's kind of known for, and they've been fantastic. Justin, speak a little bit. I know you've trained with them, and I know you got an affinity for Lane Johnson. They have a whole plethora of really good offensive linemen in Philly, but speak specifically about Lane Johnson and what he brings to that team.
Yeah, Lane Johnson, former tight end, former quarterback turned offensive lineman. I played with him in the Senior Bowl. He gets drafted to Philadelphia. I went to New York, and he had his ups and downs early. Just like most young offensive linemen, Lane had his struggles his rookie year, and then he has bounced back and become the gold standard of offensive line. He probably has the quickest get off of any offensive lineman getting back into his stance. People are always trying to call him out, say, hey, he's moving too quick. He gets to his spot, and he is one of the strongest players once he gets to his spot. And you can't just bull him. You can't run around him because he's so athletic. He brings everything to the table, and he's been a leader on that offensive line. And I know they had Kelsey, and they have Landon, and they have some other great offensive linemen, Mulata and Landon Dickerson. But Lane has really been one of those guys to hold down the fort there. He talks a little smack. He brings some confidence to that team, and that is something that you need when you're in Philadelphia. And I would be remiss, I always talk about the money. Howie Roseman pays his guys. Howie pays them early and pays them often, and that's how he's able to keep this team together, and that is a testament to the whole entire organization. I was there Thursday night, and that game was a little bit of a lull. I think the Commanders should have kicked the field goal when they were down 10-12. But, the Eagles showed up, and they showed that force, and Lane and the offensive line really stuck it to the Commanders, and Saquon Barkley found a few holes, and they just wore those teams down. So shout out to Lane Johnson. He's been doing it at a high level for 12 years, and he'll be rewarded with a gold jacket one day.
Yeah, I love the way that Philly was running the hell out of the ball in the fourth quarter. They had some big plays from Saquon, but Colt, obviously there's some 2 really good quarterbacks in this game, right? I know you think very highly of Matthew Stafford. We heard what you just said about Jalen. Who has the quarterback edge in this game?
Yeah, listen, I like Jalen. Jalen's from Texas. I mean, I like him. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot left on the table every week when you watch him play. If he can play like he played in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, like, the Philly won't lose again. right? Stafford, on the other hand, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. I mean, there's nothing that he can't do. I mean, you put him behind this offensive line, you give him Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, stop. Just stop. This is a great quarterback matchup. What Jalen does well is he runs the offense. Like he does use his legs, and you got to respect both of him and Saquon in the backfield. And when he gets his one-on-ones, he usually hits them. So it's a smooth, simple game plan, and that's why Philly is rolling, because they're just so good at all positions. The Rams, on the other hand, like, they've got Cooper back, they've got Puka back. We want the Rams to like show us a little bit more. But we'll see. I mean, this Philly defense is going to present a big challenge to them. I don't know if the Rams can figure out a way to win this one. But when you talk about the West, they're 5-5, just like everybody else outside of the Cardinals. I mean, it's going to be a good matchup. And as far as quarterbacks go, I mean, Matthew's one of the best in the league, in my opinion, and Jalen's playing good.
Speaking of winning games, Jay, Nick Sirianni continues to win games, takes them to Super Bowls, wins games year in and year out. Probably the most criticized coach in maybe in the history of the NFL. Why is that?
He's 42-19, and he's 2-3 in the playoffs. Not bad for a young football coach. I think the reason why is because he's kind of like me. When he screws up, he doesn't screw up very often because they win a lot of games. But when he does screw up, it's like a home run screw up. The horrible decision to kick a field goal or not kick a field goal or yell at the fans. And it's just magnified because of who he is and his outgoing personality. And I think people just read him the wrong way. But I think overall, he's done a pretty damn good job. He's had to change coordinators multiple times. He's kept his team afloat. They've had some injuries to some key players every now and then. And he's 42-19. It's hard to win that many games in the National Football League. Been to a Super Bowl. So hats off to that guy. Just calm down a little bit on the sideline. Make it less about you and more about your team would be my recommendation.
He does have Saquon Barkley, right? He's obviously one of the biggest freaks we have all ever seen in the National Football League. I'm going to go around and ask each one of you guys. I'll start with you, Colt. Who's the biggest freak athlete that you ever played with?
I mean, Saquon's up there. Listen, I got to play with him for a couple games before he tore his ACL, and the things that he could do, we've talked about on this show. He could line up and play X receiver on any team in the NFL. Maybe not start, but he has great hands. He runs great routes. Obviously, he does at running back. He's a monster. The other one would probably be Benjamin Watson. I mean, that dude is a monster when it comes to just like his physical stature. He's 6'5", 260, runs like a 4.4. When I first got in the NFL, he was the tight end, and every time I would throw to him, I'd never thrown to anybody that could move like that and be as big of a human being as he was. Like, we talk about physical freak. I mean, he played for 14 years and won a couple Super Bowls in New England. Like, dude's awesome.
All right, I got a couple. Obviously, we mentioned Saquon Barkley. Another teammate of mine when I was in New York was Odell Beckham Jr. I think you could put Odell Beckham Jr. on almost any other sport out there in the world, and he could be a center fielder in baseball. He could be, a soccer player. Maybe not basketball. We've had those debates before. So Odell Beckham, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, the defensive back.
Yeah,
he was
DRC.
one of the best personalities I've ever been around. One of the best athletes that I have also ever been around. He was the pick six king. He did it his way, but he is one of the best athletes that I ever had a chance to be on the field with. Before we continue with the video, I have to ask one favor. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, and turn on those notifications. If you like this type of content, if you like hearing us talk football, hit that notification button. So every time we drop a video, it is coming straight to you.
Jay, I'm sure you coached some good ones. How about you?
Yeah, A.J. Green at Cincinnati was pretty special. His hand-eye coordination was ridiculous. His ability to contort his body in all kinds of different angles and catch the ball was sick. Deshaun Jackson's ability to track the ball, locate the ball, go get the ball was a freaky. Jordan Reed's ability to contort his body and get in and out of cuts, he was a freak. And then obviously, I've always mentioned Trent Williams. He could play anywhere on the line, tight end probably. He's unbelievable for his size. I think he's a little bit better. He could probably play better tight end than Benjamin Watson. I'm not sure.
Trent Williams and Deshaun Jackson lined up for a 10-yard dash. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Who do you think won?
Trent.
They're in spring football. We were out there goofing around, and they started talking trash to each other. You can't beat me. I can't. Well, let's race then. They go 10 yards, and Trent handily beats Deshaun Jackson. It was one of the freakiest things I've ever seen.
I played with Jason Peters in Philadelphia, and then I'll go another offensive lineman, Tristan Wirfs. Both these guys, two opposite ends of the age spectrum, right? But Jason Peters coming off the 2011 lockout, he probably put on 50 pounds. I mean, he was not he came back to training camp. Everybody's like, man, like he played at 325 last year. Now he's 375. Like, should we ease him in? First play of literally 9-on-7, we run a crack toss, and he's running a 4.8 around the corner at 370 after gaining 50 pounds. I'm like, this guy's an absolute freak. And then Tristan Wirfs, I get to play with him his rookie year, and just seeing the ability of him being 6'6", 350 pounds, his ability to move, and then the video of him jumping out of a swimming pool and literally landing on the edge of the swimming pool was it for me. I was like, this guy's an absolute freak.
I could do that out of a bathtub.
All right, let's get to some predictions this week. Who do we got? Philadelphia or L.A. Rams? Colt McCoy, who do you got?
I think Philly wins this. Look, I think Kellen Moore's doing a great job. I mentioned this earlier, but he's got weapons, but he is consistently calling very good offensive game plan games every week. And they put on they've won 6 in a row, make it going to be 7 this weekend. But Kellen is doing a great job of getting the one-on-ones outside, finding different ways to get Saquon Barkley the ball, different run schemes, making sure that he gets the certain amount of touches that he needs to keep them ahead of the chains. I think Jalen's managing the game well. They're a good football team right now, and they got one of the best offensive lines in the game, and they have been over the last several years. I think Philly's going to be too much for the Rams this week.
Yeah, I'm going Philadelphia as well. It's going to be 75% Eagles fans out there in LA. LA is going to feel like they're on the road. They're going to run the ball well. Saquon's going to get after it. I think the Eagles take this one.
I crack up at Colt, man. He almost said his first negative thing ever about Jalen Hurts, and then he backpedaled back. No, I love Jalen. You want me to be the negative guy for you, Colt? I will be.
I'm not a hater.
And quit tugging on. Never mind. I like the Rams in this game, really. Puka and Cooper together pretty dang good. I think the protection is getting a little bit better. They're making some adjustments up front, and I like the young defense. The Rams, the Commanders did a pretty good job against the Eagle defense last week, with the exception of the fourth quarter, 2 big runs by Saquon. They just got out-gapped and terrible pursuit on the backside on 2 critical plays. But overall, I think the Commanders showed a little bit of a way to slow down the Eagle offense, and I think the Rams can do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure the Rams got the personnel on defense that the Commanders have.
I don't either.
On the run you're talking about, the center, absolutely demolished the safety in the box, which was pretty cool to see.
Twice. It was Percy. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
that
good.
Was a double-deck knockdown.
Double knockdown. That's a double plus. That's you could screw up 6 plays in a row and still have a positive grade going out after that. But for me, Philly's got the better offensive line, in my opinion. They got the best athlete on the field. I think Philly wins this. Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite players' stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today. All right, let's get to a pick 'em. We got the LA Rams. We got the Philadelphia Eagles. I am going to go Puka Nacua, higher receiving yards. I think he's going to start making some plays, and he had some big plays last week. I think Puka Nacua, higher receiving yards. Colt, who do you got?
Yeah, Puka's going to have to go for like 200 if they want to win this game. I'm taking A.J. Brown. Rams cannot cover him. He's going to get one-on-one matchup. Kellen Moore is going to dial it up. He's going to have higher receptions and higher yards. A.J. Brown.
2 guys out on a limb. Ooh. I'm going to take Matthew Stafford. Higher touchdown passes. He's going to throw 3 or 4. It's going to be in the end zone, baby. Even Kyron Williams, I think, will catch a screen pass for a touchdown. So higher and boost it.